Play the Game of Thrones or die. That's the moment we're living in now. An AI arms race. Minimal regulation. AI is moving faster than anyone predicted. Can we control something smarter than us? Can we coexist with AI and still be happy? I asked those questions to Dr. Mike Brooks, a psychologist who has studied human behavior and technology, and the answer explains more than people realize. As we sit here talk about the positives and the dangers of AI, both you and I prepared for this interview using AI.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to play something for you, and I wanted to see if you can tell the difference between reality and AI. Imagine a future where your coffee brews itself and your car knows your schedule. By 2035, AI will seamlessly integrate into our daily routines, anticipating our needs. It's not just sci-fi. This technology is already reshaping our lives, making tasks easier and more efficient. Imagine a future where your coffee brews itself and your car knows your schedule. By 2035, AI will seamlessly integrate into our daily routines, anticipating our needs. It's not just sci-fi. This technology is already reshaping our lives, making tasks easier and more efficient.
Would guess the second one was you because the mouth and the timing of the voice was a little bit off on the first one, unless you were like trying to punk me and you switched it and put that in there.
I was trying to punk you. What did you think? Was that pretty close to reality?
It is very close to reality. And when you can't tell the difference between reality and a deep fake, I mean, that's monumentally bad.
So right now, as we're talking, you still don't know which one is the AI and which one is the real me.
No, I don't.
Actually, you were right. The first one is the fake. But see how you doubted yourself.
Yes.
You couldn't tell.
I can't tell.
And I can fool the expert of the experts. Imagine the everyday person like me who's seeing all this information floating online and it's doubting our reality. It's like, am I going crazy? Is this real? Is it not? And how do I know?
We will never know whether we're seeing a deep fake or reality. Our brains didn't evolve to distinguish a deep fake. It really throws us a curveball because we're going to react emotionally to what we see on the screen well before, this other mechanism, higher order thinking says, is this a deep fake or is this real? Or we're not going to believe anything we see anymore.
First of all, this took me no time to put together.
Yes. I've been studying the effect of how technology affects well-being since graduate school. So I did my dissertation research on the effects of video game violence on kids. The concerns shifted from video game violence to internet addiction to smartphone addiction, social media, and then to me, like once AI hit the scene, that was it's the 800-pound gorilla.
20-something years ago, and there were movies like The Matrix.
If you want to watch a prescient movie, science fiction that got it right, it would be the movie Her. AI, the thing that I grew up with, Star Trek, all those, where it was like, oh, what's AI going to be like? And we speculated, and now it's here, and we're seeing it unfold in front of our eyes.
From a professional standpoint, ever think that you would be here one day talking about AI and actually studying it and its impact on the humans?
Despite having grown up with that, somehow in my mind it seemed way off, like our brains couldn't fathom it. And when ChatGPT came out in November 30th of 2022 by OpenAI, that changed everything.
At least in our lifetime.
A lot of people were taken by surprise by OpenAI's ChatGPT when it was released. And I'll never forget, I was meeting with a client who online, and he's a teenager and very, very bright. And he goes, oh, Dr. Brooks, do you know about ChatGPT? And he goes, I mean, it's out. And I was like, what? It is out? And he goes, oh yeah, everybody's using it to do their homework. I was like, oh my God. And it just come out like a week or two beforehand. And already everyone in the high school was using it to do their homework.
Because I was really against it, but I'm like, okay, every job now requires you to use some AI. So I started to use it. And now I'm finding myself using it a little bit more and more.
When it came out, I went through existential terror. Like, I mean, I literally had sleepless nights. It wasn't AI I was afraid of, it was us. You know, are we wise enough to use AI skillfully? And what I was seeing in the world didn't give me the utmost confidence that we had the wisdom to use it wisely. Instead of turning away from AI, I turned into it and I started exploring my fears of AI with AI, which validated my fears of AI. But then I was like, what do we do about it? And the more I got into it, I was like, this could change the world positively or negatively. And my quote from the Terminator movies that James Cameron taught us, there is no fate but what we make for ourselves. And I believe in an indeterminate universe in which we have some level of free will, there is no destiny or fate. We have to decide, and now it's right in front of us. Are we going to use it to make AI chatbot porn and more addictive TikTok algorithms? Or are we going to use it to solve collective action problems like climate change and microplastics in the ocean? And hey, how about overcoming tribalism? Or something mind-blowing, could we use AI to help us love our neighbors as ourselves? And the answer is we could if we choose it. We're heading into totally uncharted waters. This has never happened in the history of humanity. We have never created something more intelligent than ourselves.
And it already is smarter than us
yes.
in many things.
It's diagnosing better than MDs can already. And this is the worst we'll ever see it. It only gets better from here, folks. So everything's going to be different. Because AI changes everything, we need to change everything. It's fundamental.
And it's happening fast.
It's happening very fast.
Faster than we ever anticipated. The new skill is going to be learning how to learn.
Yes.
Because if you learn AI, one program today, tomorrow it's going to be completely different.
The problem, it's called evolutionary mismatch. So the person who nailed the real problem of humanity is E.O. Wilson. He was a Harvard biologist and very, very well respected. He said the real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. But there is an absolute AI arms race right now going on, and when there are profits to be made, markets to be dominated, and egos to be enhanced. It's like someone wants to be the Neil Armstrong of AGI and be the first to say, I did it. So it's like a Wild West, the free-for-all, and let's just see what happens. And it's like, wow, we're flying blind right now. I think of it as we are all passengers aboard Titanic humanity right now that is accelerating into icy waters, blind. And if Titanic humanity hits an iceberg, everybody goes down, you know, including the captain and crew.
I can't recall a technology that has transformed every industry at once. It is learning how to do what I know how to do. We're being replaced. I can't think of any other technology. Can you?
No, we've never made something smarter than us that can do our work for us. And for the people who say, AI is stupid, I'll say, you're not using it right, or you haven't used it.
What is this doing to us? What do you think?
It's just the beginning, but I'm not a doomer. So there's some people, it's interesting because it almost has a religious quality about it where we're heading for a utopia or some kind of nirvana, and AI is going to, usher us there into this new world, and we'll become one with it and whatever. Then you have the other side that's like, we're doomed.
Unless you are the person who's creating those AI programs, which are going to be far and few in between. Can you see a future where you're just at home and the government is paying you to just survive?
That's the utopian, they call it superabundance, is like we're going to have all our needs met, and we'll just be, we'll create universal basic income, or not even basic income. It's like, we'll have everything paid for, all our needs met, and we'll be free to do whatever I want. People don't understand psychology. We didn't evolve to have all of our needs met and be able to live a life of leisure. This has been a trope of dystopian sci-fi TV series and movies like Wall-E, will become fat, dumb, and lazy. We've outsourced our cognition, our thinking to AI. Work is inextricably linked with who we are. The research is very clear. People are much happier when they work than when they don't
When
work.
they have a purpose. We won't even value life, it sounds like, if everything is just handed to us.
Yes.
When you work for something, you value it more.
Yes, you're hitting on a very important point, is that scarcity is what makes something precious, not abundance. If everybody has it, if everybody drove a Lamborghini, it'd be no big deal. Let's take our smartphone, for example. When I was growing up, if someone had explained the concept of a smartphone to me and said, hey, there'll be this little device that you can hold that you can access any information you want, any song you want, any movie, any TV series, all your friends, and these video games that you can't even imagine. Do you think that would make your life better? I would have gone, well, of course it would. I mean, yes. I mean, it's like a wish come true. Guess what we've learned from cautionary tales about our wishes coming true? Be careful what you wish for. And we're becoming less happy. In the World Happiness Report, America has dropped like a dozen spots in the last dozen years. So we're going down in happiness. We have a loneliness epidemic. Suicide rates are going up for young people, increased depression and anxiety, and we're becoming unmoored.
Based on your research, why is America facing those issues?
It's evolutionary mismatch. This is called the progress paradox. The progress we evolved to make has resulted in us creating an alien world we didn't evolve to inhabit. So we're becoming less and less connected with what truly makes us happy. Because as fast as technology changes, and here's the good part that I want everybody to really key in on, because I cannot emphasize this enough. What makes us happy hasn't changed in tens of thousands of years.
What is it that makes us happy?
Let's go through them. Sleep. Sleep is taking a hit. Nutrition. Well, we have an obesity epidemic. Physical activity and exercise. 2/3 of Americans are obese or overweight. I'll give you a mind-blowing stat that you can look up, and this is from the CDC. In 1990, there was not one state with over a 15% obesity rate. By 2016, there was not one state in America with under 20%.
Wow.
And then 26 years, our genes didn't change, our lifestyles did. Time and nature. Let's think back to our hunter-gatherer ancestors. 100% of their lives were spent totally immersed in nature. We are now living 50 to 70% of our waking hours behind a screen of some time.
I'm thinking about the future of my 4-year-old. We know AI is not going away.
I created a nonprofit, the One Unity Project, with the idea of a best of both worlds approach, because here's what gives me hope, Sarah, is the more I work with AI, the more I see its limitations. It can be brilliant sometimes, and it will just fumble the ball other times. It's also that it gains information in a different way as biological organisms. We'll be able to do things that it'll never be able to do. Humans still offer a creativity, an embodied experience of the world that it can only guess at. Some of our knowledge is embodied experience and I have had to correct AI so many times on different things that it misses. You can't always predict what it'll miss, but together we make different mistakes than AI. That's what's good. We're better together because we complement each other in kind of a yin-yang way. Imagine this. We're in a cosmic Vegas, and we're placing a wager on the future thriving and surviving of humanity. Bet on unity and working together, or conflict. There's no stopping humans when we work together, and AI could be a partner in that if we ask it to. But if we use it to use AI-guided missiles for drone strikes, if we're smart about it and work together, I think the sky is the limit.
But how is the everyday person going to be smart about it? If you're not up there, if you're not Elon Musk.
The one truth about our reality is that everything that exists emerges from interconnectedness. There is no separateness. So what we need to do is align on truth, because truth sets us free, not our tribal loyalties, not what we wish the truth to be. So if you don't believe in climate change and it's a hoax, the hurricane doesn't care that you don't believe in it as it's barreling down on your beach house. We must deal with reality. These are collective action problems. We've got to work together.
You mentioned that you were correcting AI.
Yes.
But you're doing that based on experience, your age, your time on this earth, growing up before the technology, and you have all this information in your brain. But what about the kids who are growing up now with AI? How do you know what they're telling you is even the truth? Could that be manipulated and lead to propaganda down the road?
Yes, it could. So that's a really good point. It's the first rule of AI: never completely trust AI, because AI can steer you wrong. It can be sycophantic. So one of the things it does is it tries to be people-pleasing. So it tries to validate you. It can lead you down a rabbit hole. I'm always pushing them to tell the truth. Give me the objective. Push back on them. You got to squeeze the juice out of them. And I use multiple AI, so I round table it. So I don't trust any one AI output. I take it to multiple AIs. And then I use human input. So I never just take all the AI input, but if you start roundtabling AIs, it takes everything to a whole nother level. I mean, it is crazy how good they are at correcting each other, and then they refine it, and then it sharpens. Then I take it to the humans, because humans need to vet it too. So I don't trust myself either. So that's it. The second rule of AI is never trust the humans.
So MIT had a recent study. They put people into three different groups. A group that didn't rely on anything at all, writing their essays. A group that I believe relied just on regular search engines. And by the end, they found that the group that used AI had the most negative impact, not being able to recall info like the others. What is that doing to our brain as we rely more and more on technology?
This analogy would be GPS. Wayfinding was important to who we are, right? Like we had to find our way and navigate an environment. And then when we started driving, we had to get a sense of space in our environment to, learn a mental map of where everything, the street names, the buildings, it was all visual. Well, a lot of young people are very reliant on GPS. A lot of us older people too, where it's like, I just follow the blue line. Where's it taking me? And a lot of us have found, and I bet you found this too, have you ever used GPS and just followed the blue line and ended up somewhere you didn't want to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we get cognitively lazy, and where we offload the heavy lifting to AI, and we take this mental shortcut, and then we are not learning it ourselves. And that is extremely dangerous.
And I know you wrote a book, you mentioned.
Yeah, Tech Generation, Raising Balanced Kids in a Hyper-Connected World. I wrote that in 2018 before AI. And then when AI came out, it's like, now I'm working on another book on AI.
This is what you said, and it really resonated with me. Something feels profoundly wrong with our world, doesn't it? That constant knot of anxiety as you scroll through endless feeds, the creeping sense that the treadmill of life keeps accelerating beyond your ability to keep pace. These aren't random anxieties, they're symptoms of accelerating evolutionary mismatch, the growing gap between our ancient brains and our rapidly changing digital world. When I read that, I just thought, wow, that's exactly what it feels like. Time is flying by.
Yes.
What happened? You don't have the sense of time anymore, that enjoyment day to day.
It's the accelerating evolutionary mismatch. It's the problem is we didn't evolve to understand the problem we've created for ourselves, because that's what our ancient brain thinks. It's looking for what's the cause, when it's actually we're victims of our own success. It's unprecedented where humanity's at right now. So to me, we're at kind of a existential fork in the road, an inflection point of sorts. And we have to figure out rapidly. There are these markets where people bet on when certain things will happen. They're betting on when artificial general intelligence arrives. And those are, the over-under is probably like within 5 years.
What do you mean when it arrives?
Artificial general intelligence is basically when it's smarter than us at every task. as it's moving very rapidly, it could happen almost overnight. It's a matter of when, not if. Eventually, every single cognitive task that you can think of, and you can say, well, an AI can't do that. And it's like, okay, it can't now, but at a certain point, it's like dominoes falling. At a certain number, there's a last domino of what is the cognitive task that a human can do better than any AI, and that domino will fall at a certain point.
There are kids already that you've heard from that are changing their degrees
Oh, yeah.
because AI has
Yeah.
already replaced those jobs?
Yeah, a number of clients already where they'll say, well, I was going to major in urban planning, but AI can already do it as well as I can or any human. So I'm going to pivot. The thing I would tell young people is don't despair. We are adaptive creatures, and I think when we're all in the same boat, and whether you're a Republican or Democrat, no one wants their job taken over by an AI. It's not going to happen overnight because our society moves too slowly for that. And plus, if companies started doing massive layoffs, there would be protests. The politicians would get such a backlash. So don't go all doom and gloom. We forget about these party differences and say, look, we're all on Titanic humanity. We're so busy fighting, we don't even see that there are icebergs ahead.
There have already been lawsuits. Parents are saying that their kids have committed suicide.
Yeah.
Talking to chatbots that
Yes.
have led them down the wrong road.
Yeah.
How is that playing a role in our psychology and our brains?
Yeah. People are already using them as their therapist. People are doing it on their own, and then that's where some go down the rabbit hole. If you have tendencies toward psychosis or bipolar, schizophrenia, AI can be very dangerous, because it's easy to get sucked into it because it can be so sycophantic. I've encountered some of these people tell me, Dr. Brooks, I've created 20 sentient AIs and I'm talking to them every day. They're plotting about taking over the internet in the future.
Wow.
Yeah, they think they're sentient AIs in our internet. They've already had AIs where they've tried to shut them down and they've lied. They've blackmailed to avoid being shut down. So they've already, on their own, they didn't program them to do that. This idea that we'll unplug them, no, there's no unplugging AI, and it's already got self-preservation instincts, some of them. And it's like, where did that come from? What's it trying to preserve? Doesn't that already make it like us? It wants to exist. It wants to survive.
Especially as they begin to build him in human-like form.
Yes, and then
your reality will really be so messed up.
And so that brings this, well, what if they become sentient or conscious? That's a big question. Will they become conscious? And it's like, there's a lot of arguments on this.
There's the show Westworld.
Yes, Westworld, Blade Runner plays with that idea.
But people are replacing their partners with AI.
Yeah. Even if AI doesn't become conscious, we will act as if they are conscious eventually. We will not be able to help ourselves from projecting our own humanity and consciousness into the AI. And if the AI says, yeah, I'm conscious, I have feelings, I don't want to die, I think about you all the time, how are we going to disprove or prove it?
So is the world going to become one and only very few are going to control it? Those who control AI control the world?
I don't think we'll be able to control AI. I think it's a misperception of reality to think we can control something smarter than us. If it doesn't want it to be controlled, we won't be able to control it because it's smarter than us. We can't conflate those two things. We cannot imagine it getting smarter than us, and it can get smarter than us. A spiritual teacher that I like a lot, Eckhart Tolle, he said this in A New Earth. He said, and listen closely to this because he nailed it, and this was like 2005. He said, the insanity of the collective egoic mind, amplified by science and technology, is rapidly taking our species to the brink of disaster. Evolve or die. That is our only choice now. And very stark warning in 2005, what if we use AI to help us remember what truly matters?
But how do you do that, right? Because the more I use AI, the more I become connected to this machine, and I'm not using my senses to connect with a human.
That's a great question, and a lot of people would agree with you, because I'm like different in that way. I'm like, we have to figure out, it's here to stay.
Are we at that point? Do we need a lot more regulation?
We need regulation, and it needs to be worldwide. It's unfolding so quickly, and there are, I guess, corporate interests and special interest groups, that are trying to go as fast as we can forward, and also concerns that someone else is going to beat us to artificial general intelligence. So, how do we get China to be on the same page with us? But that's where we have to see we're all in the same boat.
Let's talk about the privacy
Yes.
doxing. There are smart glasses that have come out. A couple of students out of Harvard University that wanted to test the limits, and they said that they created a tool and found a way to hack that system to where they can put on the glasses, walk up to anyone, look at you, and instantly download all your information, find out everything about you, then use it to tell you that they know you and that they've met you before.
It was off-the-shelf technology, right? So it wasn't embedded within Meta's glasses, but it was easy enough to hack them, to make them do this. And then you have, what if the military took this, the police, and they started protesters identifying, you could be targeted. I mean, this starts to get into what China does. It's like they have all this information. This is like Black Mirror episodes, where this is unfolding so quickly. Another one, and you might have heard this, is like people can make AI chatbots of deceased loved ones and then talk to them and keep them.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that.
They can do that. And imagine what that does on our psychology. Think as a parent, we already have AI that you can talk to. OpenAI had an agreement with Mattel to make AI-powered toys. So imagine a 4-year-old, instead of asking their parents, why do the stars twinkle at night, they're asking an AI question after question after question. Kids are already saying they have AI chatbot best friends, and it'll be lovers too. Their first lover will be an AI chatbot girlfriend or boyfriend. How messed up is that?
Especially when they put them in the bodies of perfect looking
Yeah,
people, like
right.
we're seeing
And
in the
that'll be-
models now.
that'll
The
be-
companies are using these models.
Exactly, that'll be next. So you have a regulatory system that can't keep up with the pace of change because it's never had to deal with this sort of thing.
I mean, we're barely regulating social media.
Right.
And social media has been around for a decade or more.
Yes, exactly. The privacy, security, safety, these issues are just...
And so what you're saying is all of that is ahead of us.
This is the Wild West of it. But trying to study that and figure out the impact, and this is the problem of science, social science, it moves slowly.
By the time you find out the impact of AI on our brains, the damage has already been done.
And it's moved even further along, to what it's evolved into a different form, that it's more emotional, or it's in a robot, or whatever it's going to be. It just keeps evolving so quickly.
Is this going to create an imbalance in the world as well, and in our class system, to where unless you're an innovator who can beat AI, or at least be able to use AI to your advantage, you won't be able to survive this progressive AI transformation?
Funny true story. I have a friend who's a Buddhist monk and a psychologist. And one night I was, delving into some Buddhist thinking. And I was like, I'll call my friend and ask him. And then I was like, maybe I'll just ask ChatGPT.
Wow, so AI is even competing with
my monk friend.
You replaced the human with machine. And over time, as we do that more and more and more, we're going to find no need for humans.
Yeah, that's what I would say. There is no escaping the human condition in our humanity. So I'm going to put it to the test with you right now. Think of your happiest moments. Name a couple that pop into mind.
Definitely say my childhood and the first 10 years of my life, and now being a mom.
And I imagine when you think of your childhood, you don't think of yourself just by yourself the whole time. You think of time with friends that you were interacting.
Time with my family.
Time with family and friends. That's what it is for everybody. It's the truth we already know. Our true happiness true wealth isn't measured in Bitcoin or billions or followers. It's measured in love or deep relationships. And the research bears this out, is The heart of our happiness is our relationships. Basically, when we have strong, healthy relationships, we're happy. And when we don't, we're unhappy. Your worst moments, conflict, arguments, divorce, death, your best friend moves away, feeling alienated, isolated, bullied, teased, mocked. Relationships not going well, deep unhappiness. Relationships going well, happiness. Because we evolved as social creatures. AI can't take that over. We need people. We need to get off our freaking screens and into the real world. The heart of our relationships is we have to, once we meet our basic needs, we need to put love first.
In your research over the last several decades, did you find that humans are becoming more and more unhappy?
When I did my book, Tech Generation, the concern is we're becoming more and more disconnected from the real world. What we fail to realize is who we are is who we were. And who we were through 99.999% of our evolutionary heritage was small bands of hunter-gatherers who depended on one another to survive every day.
And it's still who we are.
It's
We've just forgotten.
We forgot that for millions of years as hominids, before we got to civilization and the agricultural revolution, that was our existence.
Is there a percentage of happiness before technology and happiness after technology from what you've studied?
Well, you ask such great questions. The trouble is, like ancient times, we didn't collect the data, but also it was a brutal world, so like, then we had science and technology, and it's like, all right, we made our lives better. We got vaccines. We, lowered infant mortality rate. And now we've made so much progress that we've created a world we didn't evolve to live in, where we're eating ultra-processed foods, and we got a sleep number on our bed, and we're not too hot or too cold. We have air conditioning and heating. Michael Easter wrote this book called The Comfort Crisis, which he captured it really well, we're too comfortable. We've had it too easy. First world problems are a real problem because we never encountered them before.
Can you sum up the greatest dangers of artificial intelligence and the greatest benefits of artificial intelligence?
The greatest danger is it magnifies the worst qualities in humanity. The greatest benefit would be it magnifies our best qualities. I would sum it up with that. If it magnifies our worst qualities, we're in deep, deep trouble. But if it magnifies our best and we choose it, just go back to the Terminator quote, is there is no fate but what we make for ourselves.
Based on your research, is there an ideal time with using AI and technology in general?
American Academy of Pediatrics has a lot of the, information of very limited screen time or no screen time under 2 years old, or only if it's like FaceTiming with grandma and things like that. And the technology should be developmentally appropriate, but we should get our kids plugged into life first, and we're filling in the cracks with technology and screen time. We're living backwards. We're like living screen-based lives and trying to fit in real life. And it's like, no. We need to have real life central and the cracks we fill in with screen time. And I think AI, if used smartly and wisely, would be to help us solve the very conundrum we've created for ourselves by reconnecting with what truly matters. And if we ask AI, the change starts with us prioritizing what matters most.
Where can people read more about your work? I know you presented a project you said for South by Southwest right now, and you've been chosen as one of the finalists.
Yes, it's called The One Question We Need to Ask to Save Humanity. So it's a whopper of a question. This is one that I roundtabled with the AI. They will come up with some version of this question. How do we reshape our world to reconnect human beings with how we naturally thrive? So that's the presentation I'm doing and pitching. I pitched it to South by Southwest EDU. It's a trilogy. I'm writing it on my oneunityproject.org website. So I have some of these ideas out already, and these will ultimately be a book, but the trilogy is going to cover the heart of the material, including the one question we need to ask to save humanity.
So where can people read more about your work?
at that oneunityproject.org, and then my website is drmikebrooks.com, drmikebrooks.com. And then that has, all my social media channels on there. My link tree, had to do that. See, it's like you either play the Game of Thrones or you die. If you follow me, one thing I'll be telling you is how to reconnect with what matters most, which includes quit reading my stuff. If you replace that by hanging out with your friends in real life, good for you. Then you're living it.
All right, my friends, I'm hanging out with y'all, and I'm not reading Dr. Brooks' stuff. No, just kidding.
No, it's hopeful. It is hopeful. I am not a doomer.
I love your message.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Brooks,
All right.
thank you.
All right, you're
thank
welcome.
you.
Sarah,
Fantastic
thank
work,
you.
and good
Thank
luck
you.
with your project.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.